What does it mean for the future of jobs when robots can do things faster, cheaper, and better than we can? Will there be anything left for humans to do? This is more serious than the debate about jobs going overseas. We're talking about jobs going away altogether. We're talking about mass unemployment. What we now call the middle class might be wiped out entirely. Or will it? The idea that technology will take away jobs is one that goes way back. The classic example is the Luddite movement of the early 1800s. The Luddites were textile workers in England whose jobs were being replaced by weaving machinery. Their solution was to break into businesses and destroy the machines they could find. This eventually stopped when the Luddites were all arrested. But this has been a recurring theme over the last 200 years. New technology has always threatened old jobs. The invention of the steam engine threatened manual labor. The ATM threatened bank tellers. Automated gas pumps threatened gas pump attendants. Today, the internet threatens retail. There are many more examples. Throughout history, many have argued that this progression will lead to economic collapse because at each turn, there will be fewer jobs to go around. Yet somehow, 2 centuries in, we're still going strong. Why? Well, what the evidence shows is that technology actually creates more jobs than it destroys. Take the case of the ATM, for example. There are more bank tellers now than before the ATM was invented. It's true that fewer tellers are needed at each branch because of the ATM. But ATMs made it cheaper to operate a branch, which allowed banks to open more branches. The total number of teller jobs increased, even with fewer at each location. A slightly different case is that of the automated gas pump. Yes, it killed the job of the gas pump attendant, but it also created new opportunities. Software developers were needed to make the pumps work correctly, engineers were needed to build them, salespeople were needed to sell them, and contractors were needed to install them. And because they decreased the cost of running a gas station, more of them added mini-marts and new locations, employing more people. The internet is an even bigger example. We all know it has caused the retail industry to shrink, but it's created a huge number of jobs in web development and web marketing, and the ability to conduct business online has created a lot of opportunities. A 2011 study by McKinsey found that while the internet destroyed 500,000 jobs in France, it created 1.2 million new jobs in their place. That's a lot of net job creation. So technology boosts employment in 3 ways. First, it improves productivity. That lowers operating costs, so businesses can grow and create new jobs. It also means products and services can be made more affordable. That means there's more that we can buy and sell to each other, which creates a more robust economy. Second, technology requires a support structure that creates jobs in areas such as management, hardware, software, marketing, finance, training, support, maintenance, quality control, and so forth. Third, technology creates new business opportunities. Take the example of smartphones. People are out there creating mobile apps, smartphone cases, smartphone peripherals, even smartphone reviews. So technology has always been the main driver of the economy. Contrary to what politicians tell us, cutting taxes or increasing government spending is not the most important thing. It's technology that actually drives most of the growth. But is it possible that this time might be different? After all, we now have robots that can replace humans in unprecedented ways. Take warehouse robots, for example. Companies such as Amazon use them to find and move inventory off of shelves more than 5 times faster than a human. Then there are self-driving robots, such as those introduced by Google and Tesla. These robots have 10 times the perception and reflexes of a human driver, always make safe decisions, and never get lost. Pretty soon they'll be doing all the driving. There are robots that can cook a hamburger in 10 seconds while performing all the jobs of a fast food crew, and self-serve kiosks are spreading quickly. It seems like everything will soon be automated. So what will people do? First, let's assume that robots will not become smarter than humans and take over the world. That's a topic for another day. For now, let's focus on the near future. There are different opinions about what that looks like. One paper by the University of Oxford predicts that nearly half of US jobs will be automated within a few decades. Others think it will be closer to a third of jobs. Either way, it's plenty. Although this might sound expensive, robots pay for themselves. According to the Boston Consulting Group, a human welder costs a company around $25 an hour, but a robot can do the same job for $8 an hour, even with the setup costs. That makes investing in robots the obvious choice. This seems like bad news for humans, But there are a few things to keep in mind. One is that, while it's easy to guess the jobs that robots will take away, it's difficult to predict the new opportunities they will create. Consider that in 1870, 50% of the jobs in the US were related to farming. Because of improvements in technology, now that figure is around 1%. If you went back in time and told people this was coming, they wouldn't know what they were going to do either. There was no way they could imagine the jobs technology would enable, such as web designer, or pharmacist, or airline pilot. The jobs of the future may be better than the ones today. Robots will free us from jobs that are boring, repetitive, and dangerous. Future jobs will demand more passion, innovation, and insight, which are uniquely human qualities. Robots will perform the calculations and drudge work, while we provide the direction. Another point is that robots won't be able to do everything. Let's list just a few jobs which are unlikely to be automated. How about design, nursing, childcare, show business, art and fashion, politics, psychology, sports, law enforcement, education, plumbing, journalism, and so on. Still, there's no denying that some jobs will be lost, particularly those in manufacturing and labor. The rule of thumb is that any job that is predictable enough can be done more efficiently by a robot than a human. That will affect a lot of people. For some, the job they trained for will no longer be viable, and they may have a hard time transitioning to a new career. Others may suffer from a lack of education or opportunity, and cannot qualify for higher level work. This might result in higher unemployment than we've ever seen, what we would even call mass unemployment. Mass unemployment hurts everyone, because it means less people are buying goods and services. It also causes a strain on the government, which will take in less taxes but face increased demand for support of the public. One solution often discussed, and believe it or not, it is actually a bipartisan idea, is to introduce some form of universal basic income. A guaranteed income would support displaced workers while they train in new skills. This might be needed to keep the marketplace from collapsing while we adapt to the new economy. A second and more important solution is to invest in education. This is not a new idea, it's how we've dealt with the problem before. Mandatory high school, for example, was invented to transition workers into industrial jobs when agriculture started shrinking. Then colleges and universities were invented to transition workers into white-collar work when labor became more efficient. Unfortunately, we're already in an educational crisis. In the US, we have a dramatic shortage of people with STEM training, which is knowledge of science, technology, engineering, or math, which is where many of the new jobs will be. Currently, we have to look offshore to meet the demand for qualified people. We need to turn this around to prosper in the coming economy. Another idea is self-driven learning, which is possible thanks to online course providers. This is a great opportunity because it offers public access to education from the best teachers in the world, at a reasonable cost, or sometimes even free. The technology community itself is making this possible. Udacity, Coursera, and edX, for example, were all founded by members of the artificial intelligence community. These folks know better than anyone that humans have to improve their skills to keep up with tomorrow's technology. Across the board, we need to do more to encourage continuous learning. The important thing to remember is that as humans, we still have an unrivaled ability to adapt and to improve ourselves. With the right attitude, we can take advantage of new opportunities instead of depending on past ones. If we can do that, we can enjoy instead of fear the robot revolution. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to see more, please let me know by subscribing to this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.